So let's dive right in. What we're talking about today isn't just another alien story. Not at all. Think of it as a parable, a dark, modern fable about a whole new kind of phantom that's haunting us, right at the edges of our electric light. And that really sets the stage, doesn't it? This isn't about little green men from Mars. No, this is about a massive shift in what we're afraid of. We're going to trace the evolution of horror itself, from that familiar ghost in the graveyard to something way colder and much, much more alien. Okay, so Act 1. To really get a handle on this new phantom, we have to start with the old one. We've got to establish a baseline with the classic, old-school horror we all know and love. Right, the Victorian ghost. That was a terror born from the earth, from our own past. It was all about spiritual dread, a specter rattling its chains in some dusty old manor, a familiar spirit tied to a place, to a family, to some ancient sin. It was a phantom we kind of understood, even while it was scaring the daylights out of us. And then we get to Act 2. And this is where everything just gets turned on its head. In the 20th century, our horror stopped looking down into the grave and started looking up, way up, to the cold, silent stars. And right here, the whole transition snaps into focus. We go from the spiritual terror of a damp catacomb to the clinical horror of a flying saucer. We're not haunted by the past anymore. We're haunted by a sterile, deeply uncertain future. The gray alien steps onto the stage and becomes the new spectral inheritor of our fear, a new Gothic horror for a brand new age. But you gotta ask, when did this happen? When did the script flip? Well, that brings us to Act 3, which pinpoints the exact moment the old world of fear just started to crumble, making way for this new cosmic anxiety. 1947. You have to remember that year. This isn't just a date, it's the foundational myth of our modern horror story. The source material even compares it to the fall of the House of Usher, a single, earth-shattering event that just fractures reality itself. Ever since that fateful hour out there in the New Mexico desert, the very nature of how the American psyche is haunted has fundamentally changed. The world we thought we knew, the comfortable, predictable one, suddenly started to feel, unstable, like we were being watched. The entire rulebook of terror was rewritten. Phantoms weren't vengeful demons anymore, seeking payback for some past wrong. Now they were what the source calls clinical inquisitors, interstellar auditors, here to perform a cold, detached audit of our very DNA. Okay, brace yourselves for Act 4. This is where the horror becomes visceral. We're going right to the heart of it, the absolutely chilling anatomy of the visitor itself. And to really wrap your head around why the gray is so profoundly terrifying, you have to know about this concept from Freud called the uncanny. It's not just that something is weird or mysterious. It's when something familiar, something we recognize, gets twisted into something horridly strange. And honestly, the gray alien is the perfect poster child for this. And this is exactly why they get under our skin. We recognize the basic human blueprint, right? A head, 2 arms, 2 legs. But it's this grotesque caricature. It's like looking at a distorted double of ourselves, one that's been stripped of all spirit, all warmth, leaving just this sterile, rubbery shell.
And the physical details? Man, they're pure Gothic horror. That swollen cranium isn't just a big head. The source material describes it as a heavy vault, holding a cold, calculating intellect that just operates on a frequency totally beyond our human tuning.
But let's be real, it's the eyes. It's always the eyes, isn't it? Those huge, black, obsidian orbs. They're described here not as windows to a soul, but as surveillance equipment. 2-barrel shotguns loaded with the void. I mean, what a phrase. When you look into them, you don't find a person in there. You just find an abyssal vacuum, reflecting your own terror right back at you. So for Act 5, we're pulling back from that visceral horror to look at the big existential picture. Beyond the creepy anatomy and the spooky eyes, what does this new phantom really represent? What does it mean?
It's like the gray is this walking, silent symbol of our own modern alienation, our estrangement from nature, from God, from each other. Its quiet, sterile presence perfectly mirrors the silence of a godless universe. And that gray skin, it's like the ash of our own industrial world.
And this really gets to the core of that cosmic dread. The question the gray forces us all to ask is this: are we special, or are we just specimens? Are we just biological clockwork in a huge, indifferent cosmos,
totally vulnerable to being taken apart by hands that are older, colder, and way more intelligent than our own.
And that brings us to our final act, the conclusion of this dark parable. This is where we find out that the true horror isn't just some threat from outside, but a reflection of something deep, deep within us.
See, when you boil it all down, the real fear isn't about being abducted or experimented on. It's the fear of being insignificant, of just being marks in some cosmic game we can't possibly understand, a game where our own evolution is the prize. The gray forces us to look our own precarious place in the universe right in the eye.
And that's exactly why this legend is so powerful, so persistent. It's not going anywhere. It's become a permanent fixture in our modern psyche. It's the ultimate mystery, right? The witness who won't talk, and the suspect who can never, ever be caught. In the end, the parable of the gray alien leaves us all staring into the dark with this one final chilling thought. It's the Gothic other, the ultimate unknown. It's the shadow that's been behind us since the very beginning, just watching, with this patient hunger for the secrets hidden deep inside our very bones.